This video is presented by the EA Creator Network. I have received some of the Sims 4 packs for free. Thank you to the EA Creator Network. Hello everyone, JSimLady here. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I thought we'd do another little family apartment today. This time a light and bright and sort of colorful apartment. Anyways, let's get right into it. Don't forget, if you're looking for my builds on the Sims 4 gallery, it's JSim_lady, or you can search for the hashtag JSimLady, no underscore. Now let's get into it. This time we are doing an apartment in Evergreen Harbor, the world that came with eco lifestyle, right? Did I get it right that time? I never know if I get it right. I always forget the names of the packs. Anyways, we are in the eco pack in Evergreen Harbor. I think this is the apartment buildings in the upper left-hand corner, if I remember correctly. Not sure I have that detail right, but it's just a big square. It's a big empty square, and it was really hard to figure out what to do with it. I think the floor plan came together in the end. It very much fits the vibe of the lot. So yeah, I do think the floor plan came together in the end. Am I super happy with it? Not entirely, but I don't dislike it either. It is a cute little apartment though, so I'm not too dissatisfied with it. Let's put it that way. I am very happy that I chose all of the colors and things that I did. It's very bright, very happy, very colorful, but very blue. The main color that I went with is like a blue, but I tried to add like reds and greens and oranges and stuff in there a little bit here and there too. So it wasn't just all blue everywhere. But that is the main color for this one because I don't know. It felt like the right color to go. I don't have a story for this family, just like I didn't have a story for the other family. I just was building based on a feeling for the aesthetic rather than for the family. It is a save file build though. The last one was also a save file build. I think I forgot to mention that for the all pack save file that I've slowly, painstakingly been working on. But yeah, it is for that, and I don't know. You let me know down in the comments what family you think should live here. About the only thing that I knew for sure was that they were going to have an infant or a toddler boy, and that was about as far as I got with the family and the story. I think I just took the surroundings, and as you can see when I do the zoomed out shots, my save file is weird. Like there's something weird going on with the terrain around this particular building. But also it's kind of empty because when you're in build mode in Evergreen Harbor, the neighborhood stuff is not always there. And also, this is the default versions that come, like when you first start up the game, they come that way. So that also adds to sort of the empty, no neighborhood decorations vibe going on. That's all on purpose because this world is a very, very extremely dynamic world. Not just the lots themselves, but the world at large is very dynamic. It changes depending on how eco-friendly or industrial leaning you make the neighborhood. The world around it changes, decorations and stuff. But I kind of took the sort of default that is there and kind of went with, well, this will probably be a starter apartment for a starter family. And so let's go with that kind of aesthetic, that kind of vibe, that kind of bright, open, not overly expensive, not overly high end stuff. Yeah, very starter-esque, I guess is what I would call it. Very starter-esque. But I did have fun making it for the most part. It was kind of a weird experience because often when I'm doing speed builds, I'll watch YouTube or something. And I was watching YouTube, but I was watching a really weird YouTube video about lost media that the public will never see. And it was some really gruesome stories in there. And so, yeah, I do think maybe the things that I was watching at the time influenced my decorating process here. The other thing that I was watching in the later half of the build was like an apocalypse type movie on Netflix. Again, very dark, dramatic things. And I do feel like that, oddly enough, influenced this build to some extent, almost as if I was trying to counteract the dark and depressing stuff that I was watching and listening to. I went with a very open, bright, cheery apartment. Just I think subconsciously I needed that, like, opposite to the dramatic and the dark. So I do feel like that influenced this some. I did add as you can see, an easel there. No particular reason, but I noticed that a lot of people add things like that. I generally don't because either A, I don't make families that are particularly into crafting things. At least so far, I haven't. As I get into the save file more, I probably will. But I haven't so far generally made families that are into painting or crafting or that kind of stuff yet. But also, I feel like putting that stuff in the builds kind of limits it to, okay, this is meant to be a painter living here, or this is meant to be a woodworker. Obviously, it's my save file and I can do what I want with it. And if I want a painter to live here, I can have a painter live here. But I also like making the builds open for other people's interpretations and what other people would like to do with them as well. Because I put these up on the gallery. I'm not just putting them in the save file. They will also be in the save file, but I'm putting them up on the gallery first so that you can enjoy them in any way, shape, or form that you choose. And so I personally don't like to limit your options of who's living here. Now, obviously, you could just go and delete the easel or the woodworking station or whatever. In this case, that would be really super easy because I just tucked it into a corner. I'm not even sure you can actually use it in that corner, to be honest. But I just tucked it into the corner. But there are certain times, like with my grunge lot that I built a couple of lots ago, that sort of off-grid living challenge lot, I decorated around the woodworking table purposely with the woodworking table in mind. So if you got rid of that, some of the decorations around it don't really make sense, like the pile of wood next to the what was it, a pickup truck, I think. doesn't make sense. Not really in the context of the lot and it being a woodworker, off-grid living and all that. So I don't like to decorate around career and skill objects in that way because then that kind of limits, you know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. But, anyways, enough of that. It's just a fun, colorful family lot. I do feel my inspiration for building slowly coming back again, which is really great because it was rough there for a couple of weeks. I literally had to force myself to do any kind of building or anything at all, honestly. Even the gameplay videos that I was doing were very forced because I just lost all my creativity. It was really annoying. I tried to mainly stick with the deeper blue color with just a few touches of the lighter blues here and there. I didn't want to do like a monochromatic because I also wanted those brighter kind of red orange curtains around. And so I didn't want to like half do blue monochromatic and then add weird extra colors in there. But there were a few spots where I added different shades of blue just because that's what the objects had available. For instance, this bed, that shade of blue is not the right shade, but the bed fits the room and the aesthetic and everything really well, especially being under the window. I needed a low profile bed for that space. And so I'm like, you know what? It doesn't have to be exactly the same shade of blue all throughout, and I can still add other colors in there as well, and it'll be fine. I do feel like I sometimes get a little bit too picky about that kind of stuff, and maybe that's where it's zapping my creativity a little bit because I get too stuck on this. It has to be the same blue throughout the entire house. If I use this a dark royal blue in the kitchen, I also have to use it in the living room and the bedrooms and everywhere else. And it's hard because we don't have as many options in The Sims 4. We don't have the color wheel like The Sims 3 and everything, so you can't literally match the same color across all the rooms. So I try to cut myself a little bit of slack there, but I don't know. It's like a compulsion. I have to have the same color. And maybe that is where my creativity is being zapped. I'm too particular, too picky, and I just will not let go. I need to learn to let go and lighten up a little bit. I'm trying. Especially right now with these apartment builds, I'm trying to literally lighten up a little bit because I'm hoping to allow my creativity back in. But yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. And that's what this build is. I cut out part of the bathroom, but I left part of the bathroom in because by the time I got to this, like I said, the second half of this build, I was watching that weird apocalyptic type movie and I kept getting distracted and stopping and like just sitting there. The screen, it just sat there. There's a lot of cuts to this part of the video as well because I just sat there watching the movie and just left the recording going. So, I did end up cutting out part of the bathroom because it was just really weirdly disjointed. But most of it is there this time because it is a shorter build video, and that's really all I have to say about it, honestly. We are pretty much done. Just got a couple more things to place. A little bit more stuff in the bathroom this time. A family apartment like this seems like it would be one with a little bit more clutter this time, so that's what I did, and we're done. Okay, so here we are, and obviously this is like the default starting of this apartment building here. But we go in through the front door here into the entry, and you have the cozy family living room. We've got puzzles, we've got books, we've got toys, everything a family could want, including lots of places to put family photos. I love having that on all of my walls all the time. Then we have the cute little dining room here. I like having the dining room by like big windows so that you have something to look at while you're eating. I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I like that. So it's a cozy little dining room. Nothing too spectacular, but you know. I've got the cozy blue kitchen here. I did include the pantry this time because I want a pantry in real life like this in my kitchen. I have a closet that we use as a pantry, but it's not in the kitchen. I'd love to have one in my kitchen, so I always love adding them into my Sims builds where I can. But just a cute blue little kitchen here. We go around this way. Oh, we do have a little computer office area too. I forgot about that. We go in here and we have the fun blue bathroom. So that's nice. Then we have the toddler room, infant room, whatever you prefer. Very blue. Like I said, I tried to stick mainly with the blue in this apartment, but I added touches of green and orange and red and all that too. Then we go over here to the parents' bedroom. This is probably the darkest room in the house, and honestly, I didn't even realize that until just now, walking through it this way. But I think it still works, right? It still works with the rest of the house, even though it's a little more dark and creamy than the rest of the house's decorations. Like, even this room is a little brighter and cheerier. And obviously out here is really bright and cheery and colorful, but then we come in here and we have a little bit of a darker, more subdued sort of decorating going on, but it still kind of works, so I'm not mad at it. I like it. Hopefully you like it too. And yeah, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this build, if you're enjoying my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.